Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to part 2 in my look at the 1.33 update for War Thunder. This should be part 2 of 2 unless something else important pops into my head from the change log, but otherwise it should be part 2 of 2. So in part 1 we took a look at all the new planes that have been added in this update, as well as looked at the Corsair's new climb and turn rates, and also the new features that are in-game, such as the new UI and the new damage models, the new flight models, stuff like that. Now in part 2, I want to focus on one single feature, and that is the new modification screen. So this thing looks completely new compared to how it was. It looked nothing like this before. There's also lots of new modifications available, and that's, I'm sure, part of the reason why they changed the layout. But let's go ahead and take a look at this. It was very confusing at first when I saw it, so I'm sure it's going to be very confusing for some of you as well. So at first glance, it looks like a bunch of icons that have a bit of organization, but the organization is not obvious, and it really is like that. That's what I first thought when I saw this, and I still think that, even though I know how this is supposed to work, I still think it looks rather unorganized, even though it is organized. So up at the top here, we have all the weapons for this plane, and wow, excuse me. We have all the weapons for this plane, and so we have two MGs and a cannon on this plane. It's a BF-109 F4. Secondary weapons, we have some available. We have bombs. You can also, which is brand new, you can add more cannons to your airplane. So you can add more cannons under the wings, for example. On this plane, they'd be mounted somewhere around here under the wings. So that is something new that you can do in the modifications screen. What else do we have new? The shell racks are now organized like this. They're organized vertically alongside your weapons, which is a bit interesting considering that, in my opinion, they don't fit together. But that's what they decided to do. Like I said, this is organized, but it's also not really organized, in my opinion. This really could have been done better. But that's the first row here. Second row, we have premium. So these are all the things that you could buy with gold, such as the backup plane for arcade, so you can fly with two BF-109 F4s if you wanted to, in a single arcade game. And then we also have Talisman, which gives you 100% XP more when flying this plane, just like it normally did. Backup plane and Talisman were here in 1.31 as well, so that is nothing new, but it's organized horizontally. You now have the two premium things here. And then if we go down, we have three more items. We have flight performance, durability, and weaponry, and all three of these combined are really the modifications part of the modifications dialog window here. So flight performance will change anything related to your flight. So fuselage repair will make your it'll improve your fuselage basically, because when you buy the plane, you're buying it in a damaged state. You're getting a used aircraft basically, and you can repair it to make it fly faster, fly better, make it more maneuverable, things like that. So one of the things you get is fuselage repair, and if I were to buy this, you can see as I'm mousing over it, it does three different things to the plane. It reduces the drag coefficient, it reduces something to zero lift drag coefficient of stabilizers. I don't know what that means, but it's a good thing because it's green. And it also makes your plane 4 kilometers an hour faster in terms of its max speed. So there's nothing bad about choosing this except for one thing, and that is the max repair cost is plus 6 lions, but really, 6 lions makes no difference in a max repair cost, because you are almost never going to get a max repair cost when you have to repair a plane. So those 6 lions are, you can basically ignore them. There's nothing really bad about doing this. Something that you would have a downside to doing would be putting bombs on this plane. If I mouse over this, you can see there's a whole bunch of red. So doing this would mean you lose maneuverability, you lose climb rate, things like that. But the advantage is you get bombs, which is arguably not too much of an advantage on a fighter plane. But we'll talk about this more later. So I just wanted to show you like fuselage repair. Everything's good. Radiator, you buy a new radiator, everything is good. There's no real downside to buying these. Other than the lion cost, and also the max repair cost addition, which is not very much. So the way this works is on the left side you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Roman numerals. And the way it works is like if I mouse over this one in rank 2, it says to gain access to the second tier, you need to purchase one more modification in the previous tier. And so it's wanting me to purchase one of these 3 modifications. So let's go ahead and purchase. I'm going to purchase all of these in reality, but let's go ahead and just purchase the fuselage repair. 240 lines. Yes, I will do that. So now I have unlocked this. I have unlocked rank 2, and I can buy anything at rank 2 that I can really afford. This is not something I can buy yet because, as you can see, that little tiny arrow right there, it's basically a shortened version of this long arrow right here, means that I have to buy the offensive 7mm MG in order to get this new 7mm MG. So I can't buy this in rank 2. Even though I've unlocked rank 2, I cannot buy this until I buy this one. So let's go ahead and buy this one, because I want to buy it anyways, and now I can buy this one. So all of rank 2 is unlocked, and then it carries on to rank 3. To gain access to the third tier, you need to purchase one more modification in the previous tier. So let's go ahead and purchase the new MGs. So there we go, we've unlocked rank 3. Now something you will notice, or will possibly have noticed, is that these I already owned, and that's because I bought them before in the 1.33, not in the 1.31 update, before 1.33 came out. And so I still have these two, but these other pieces are all new modifications. They are not old ones like these ones are. The new engine and the new wings, or wings repair rather, not new wings. So let me go ahead and just buy everything that I can, and it's all based on XP. I can possibly, in fact, I can show you this on at least one plane that I have. So I'm just going to buy everything going on down the list. None of these have a negative effect, so you should always buy these if you can afford them and you actually like the plane that you're buying these for. Wow, I've actually flown this enough that I've unlocked everything. Wow. One of the new changes, by the way, is that it takes less XP to unlock these things, so you don't have to have as much XP to unlock things, basically. So I was able to buy everything here, which is not going to be the case for a lot of the planes for you guys. If there's a plane you haven't flown much, say a rank 2 plane or something, you won't be able to buy everything for it. So let's go ahead and just look at a low rank plane like this one. I can safely say I haven't bought everything. Yeah, I haven't. So like this airframe, I cannot buy it because I need 11,092 more experience before I can buy this for the MC200 Series 3. But if I don't want to wait for the XP, there's something new that you can do. You can buy it with gold. So if I click on it, I don't have enough aircraft experience to buy it because I haven't flown this aircraft enough. Do I want to buy it for 60 golden eagles? I'm going to say no, because I really don't. I don't want to buy it because I never fly this plane. But if I wanted the airframe really, really badly, say for the plus 0.6 meter per second climb rate, which is arguably very little, but if I just really wanted that extra climb rate, I could buy this for 60 gold, even though I haven't bought this, or haven't flown this plane enough to be able to buy this using lions, 440 lions. So golden eagles are an option, but I don't want to do that. I just wanted to show you that it was an option now. So let's go back to the F4, that plane. Going back to the modification screen, like I said, I would talk about this a little bit later. So you notice that cannons was grayed out earlier. It was redded out because I didn't have it unlocked. The way I unlocked it was by buying this R1 suspension. And if I mouse over it, you can see it says it allows you to install two 20mm cannons under the wings. So if I go with those cannons, you can see that they have been mounted under the wings. You can see it right here. That's a cannon. So I now have 3 cannons on this aircraft, really. Rather than the 1 that it has by default, I now have 3. I was going to say that 1 is in the nose, but I don't actually know that's where it is. There is a hole in the nose, though. But anyways, I now have 3 cannons on this aircraft, plus 2 MGs. And you can see it in the stats here. It says 20 mil cannon times 3. Whereas if I remove this and only have without load here, this has 1 cannon. 20 mil cannon times 1. So you can now add extra cannons and other things to your plane. Now, the secondary weapon thing here, this is going to be a bit complicated, so let me actually show it to you. Yeah, let me show it to you this way. So you see over here in this green, it says max speed of 665 kilometers an hour. That is maxed out. That star next to it and the fact that it's green means it is maxed out. It cannot get any better on this plane. The reason it's maxed out is because I have maxed out all of these options that are modifications that I can buy. Say I wasn't able to buy the cover or something. If I uncheck this, that actually didn't do anything to my top speed. Let's find something that will do something to my top speed. Come on, tell me. Yes, that will change my top speed. So say I couldn't buy the engine throttle for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just too poor, I don't have enough lions, or I didn't have enough XP for it. If I uncheck it because I couldn't buy it, and we close this, you can now see my top speed is 657. It's not fully maxed. It's almost there, but it's not fully maxed. And so these modifications down here will change the actual stat value over here as well as in this card. This card shows the same stat values as at the top right. Now, if I recheck this and close this, it'll go back up to green, 665, and it also changes on the card, 665, and it's also green on the card, which looks a bit weird, and yet cool at the same time. So, buying and removing modifications, which there's really no reason to remove a modification because they all help you, but buying and removing them changes the actual stat values of the plane. Then we get into secondary weapons, and this becomes a little bit more confusing, but I think I've made it to where it'll be clear. So say I wanted to attach a single 250 kilogram bomb to my plane. Let's go ahead and click it, and it now has, as a secondary weapon, it has a single 250 kilogram bomb. Now if I close this, you'll see that still says 665 kilometers an hour, and it's still green, it's still maxed out, but then there's a minus 34 kilometers an hour here in red. That is because I changed my secondary weapon. So things up here at the top 4 items, really the left 2 of them, I don't think the shell racks can change your stats, but at least the secondary weapons column, if not the offensive armament as well. At least this column will not change your base value, but will actually change on the side of it with a minus or a plus. I don't think there's any time it'll be a plus, though. It's usually a minus. I have not seen a plus yet. So the difference between modifications down here and the modifications up here is the modifications down here will change the actual number, while the modifications up here will change these values over here on the right side of the number. And I think that's because once you let go of the bomb, you no longer receive these negative modifiers, and it's as if you never had a bomb to begin with. I think that's why they have done it that way. Alright, I am back. I just needed a second to look through my notes as well as take a drink of water. But I am back, and the next thing I want to talk about in this modifications menu is shell racks. So like I said, the shell racks are over here next to the weapons. I don't think it makes much sense over here, but that is where they have placed them. And this shell racks have changed completely. Well, maybe not completely. The names have changed a bit, but the types of bullets are exactly the same. But that's really about all that is the same. Everything else has changed. So you cannot see this on YouTube, I am pretty sure, and I can barely see it here as I'm looking at it. But right here on top of my mouse, there is a 40/40 right there. And what that means is that if I want to use universal ammo, it costs me 4 lions per item, and I have 40 items. So the way this works is if you're in an arcade battle and you press reload, you don't fire any bullets, but you just press reload, you have used 1 ammo from this. And I'm using universal ammo, so I'll use 1 ammo from my universal ammo. So I'll have 39 out of 40. And if I say I spend 5 of them, I will have 35 out of 40 remaining, and when the battle is done, I will automatically, because I have this check mark here checked to automatically purchase ammo refills, when the battle is done, it will charge me for 5 of the 40 because it wants to go back up to 40 out of 40. So it'll cost me 5 times 4, which is 20 lions. So that is very cheap. It is not an issue. But this is something that didn't used to happen. They never really used to charge you for reloading in an arcade game. but now they do. Now they do charge you. So the way this works is you have 40 reloads basically with universal ammo in the 7.92 millimeter machine guns on this plane. And if I use all 40 of them in a single arcade game, which would be crazy, but if I did, then because I'm out of universal, it would automatically switch to default. Even though I have tracers, this is 40 out of 40 here, and even though I have stealth here, I can't verify this, but I can say based on what the changelog says and how it sounds, it'll go back to default ammo, and you have unlimited default ammo, so you can reload infinitely. There's no limit on how many times you can reload in an arcade game or historical battle game or full real battle game. But if I were to use all 40 of these, then it would go back to default, and I'd be using default ammo unlimitedly. So you always want to keep this stocked up. There's really no reason to not have this automatic ammo refill button here checked. There is a reason not to check automatic repairs, because repairs are expensive, but ammo is cheap. So there's really no reason not to keep this checked so that you're always using the ammo that you want. You're always using universal if you want universal. You're always using air targets like I am here if you want air targets on my cannon. So this one does say 30 out of 30. Everything has its own value. I've seen some that were like 120 out of 120. So everything has their own value, but you have a certain number of them that you can use per game. Realistically speaking, though, I don't think you're going to reload 30 times with a single plane in any arcade game. Even if you got like 20 kills, I still don't think you'd reload 30 times. So you don't have to worry about this as long as you do keep purchasing ammo refills by having this box checked or by doing it manually. So here we can see bombs, and bombs are exactly the same way. It's 30 out of 30 here, 30 out of 30 here. So it's exactly the same thing with bombs. Now I do want to show you, if I can find an appropriate way to do so. Do I have any Stukas? I do have Stukas. Let's go with the R2 and go to the ammo. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to show you. So here you can see 10 out of 30. You might be like, oh, why didn't it automatically refill to 30 out of 30? I actually don't know the answer. But if I click on this, I can buy up to 20 more because it was a 10 out of 30. I can buy 20 more to go to 30 out of 30. That is how you buy refills for the ammo if it doesn't automatically refill. I have no idea why this was not at 30 out of 30. When I first got this, it was at 0 out of 30, so I had to buy something, and I bought 10 of them. 10 times 300 is 3,000, so it's kind of expensive, but at the same time, it's not really that expensive. 3,000 lions is not too much to spend on this, so I figured I'd buy 10 out of 30 for this, and 10 out of 30 for this one. So I just wanted to show you how you can buy ammo refills if you're not getting automatically refilled for whatever reason. I really don't know why this was at 0 out of 30 when I bought it, but it was. Now let's go back to the G2 there. So is there anything else in my notes that I need to tell you guys about the ammo, or not ammo, well, yes, ammo or the modifications available? I don't believe there is, looking at my notes. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I do want to mention. When you first get into patch 1.33, I highly recommend that you go through each and every single one of your planes by pressing this circle button, change aircraft, going all the way to the top, going through every single plane you own in this slot, and clicking on it, going into the ammo, and buying everything you can buy, and then going into here and picking a shell rack, because let me show you why. Actually, can I even show you on this one? No, I cannot. Let's show you on a plane that I know I can show you on. Maybe these guys. Yeah, here we go. Okay, these guys will work for me to show you. So here you can say I only have the default ammunition available, and I don't have universal available. Say I want to use universal. The info text is wrong, actually. It says omnipurpose at the top left of the info box. It's supposed to be universal. It used to be called omnipurpose, but that's not the case anymore. But say I want to buy universal, or well, as you can see, it's not available to me. What I do need to do to get it available is, as it tells me, required modification, offensive 7.92mm belts. So where are those? They are right here, offensive 7mm belts, so 7.92 millimeter belts. And it says I don't have enough experience on this aircraft in order to get it. And that's because I just haven't flown this aircraft enough. So what I have to do is pretend this was available to me. I would buy it, and then I could buy universal ammo. So if I were to go through and pick my shell racks before buying modifications, I would see, oh, I can't buy universal. I guess I can't use it on this plane. Okay. Well, I guess I'll choose default, and then, okay, let's go to the modifications, and I can buy this, so let's buy it. So I now have offensive 7mm, and I'm done. And I just don't even realize that I can now buy universal ammo belt. So what I would do is go through your modifications first, and then go through your ammo belts, because your modifications can change the ammo belts that you have available. And the only ones that can change what you have available are the ones under the weaponry slot. But I do recommend just going through all your modifications before you do your ammo belts. But go through all your planes and do this because there's so many new modifications. Like I showed you with the BF-109 F4. If we go back to that plane, you can see I was able to buy everything. And when I started this particular video, I didn't have very much at all. I had actually left this plane unupgraded. I upgraded every single plane that I have owned except for this one because I wanted to save this one for this video. And you could see me upgrade it and see the effects and such. So, like I said, there's so many new upgrades that I just recommend going through every single plane you have, buying the upgrades, the modifications. None of them are negative. I have not seen a single one that was negative. They have all given me greens, like this one will. There we go. It takes a second for the stats to actually appear. But they've all given me greens. I have yet to see a single red or any big negatives. So, just buy them all, and then go into your shell racks and pick your shell racks. That is what I recommend you do when you first go into this update, or even if after you watch this video, that is perfectly fine as well, even if you've already played in the update. So that is an explanation of the shell racks. Is there anything else in my notes that I need to go through? Like that one that I didn't notice? No, there is nothing else I need to go through. So that is all for this video. It was definitely worth dedicating a video to the modifications screen here by itself. It was definitely worth making a part 2 for this, compared to making just a long video for part 1. So, anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it informative, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys. So first off, there is now the F9F5 Panther. It is this plane, and I can show it to you in the hangar. And I am actually quite excited for this plane once I get a high enough rank to unlock it, because it is